we actually do is simply, we work farm direct. We in the machinery business, so we supply the machines for the farmers, the pulping machines, roasting machines, hulling machines. And what we do is we barter a lot with the farmers. That means sometimes the small farmers don't have enough capital to invest into the equipment. So we buy their coffee, they buy my machines. So in reality, what makes them happy makes me happy, we make you happy. And especially in an environment where we are very high overhead. And there's no air conditioning. We have a nice breeze.
You have a nice cool spot today.
Yeah, just turned on the fan.
And Angelica, she has her own farm.
Okay.
So she knows all about the processing of coffee.
Oh, great.
And we do actually, you know, if you're somewhat familiar with coffee, how coffee is being processed, yeah. Then what it actually is, we buy the parchment from the farmers. And a lot of people think that has already coffee aroma. It has no coffee smell. So what we do is, we take 2 layers off. The outer hull and a little silver skin. See, there's 2 layers.
Yes.
We remove that one with a machine like this in the back, which is a hollow polisher. And what it does is it gets it down to green beans. Now that's what we roast. And only through heat can you get the exposure of aroma. That's when the conversion takes place, where the phytochemicals, the sugar, the starches, and the caffeine homogenizes. Then you have the light roast, or what you call like a blonde roast. Mm-hmm. And from there on you continue roasting. You have a medium dark, and the dark roast. And when you reach 462 degrees, then you have Starbucks. Charbucks we call them, it's the over roasted boring coffee. But so what happened is a lot of people like, you know, the dark roast, so they mix it many times. But ours is not as bitter and is not roasted. And then we have the pea berry.
That's the best, isn't it?
Well, it's the snob coffee. You drink Saturday morning with a pinky at a porch. And it's simply coffee if you're somewhat unfamiliar how pea berry looks like. See, this one is the regular beans, okay? And the pea berry is a single bean. Now, what happened is, all coffee begins with 1 bean. And as the tree and the cherries mature, it's month and month. Once they reach a maturity, then the beans split. So you would have 2 beans in a cherry. Now the ones don't split. They dominantly found in the very outer branches and on the far end tips of the coffee tree. And the reason for it is only 1 bean in there because it hadn't had the maturity to split, since it is far away from the proper nutrition, but it has more exposure to the daily environment. So it's lesser acidic. Now in the earlier days when the bean buyers came, that's where they were buying beans like this one. This one didn't look like a bean, so it was considered as above grade. Now what happened is they had to justify the increase. The marketing people, the ones came all of a sudden, they doubled the price for the pea berry. So you had to find a reason for why it was doubling. So they said, well, more exposure, smaller beans, so it creates a much better tasting bean. So, but in reality, as an average coffee drinker, rarely people identify. But once you compare, you will notice the difference. So that's why we call them the snob coffee. The one you drink Saturday morning with a pinky. And preferable if you have English China with a little gold ring. So basically that's the makeup of the pea berry. And then we have the hippie coffee.
What is hippie coffee?
Well, the hippie coffee is typically, it's optional. You can dress like a hippie when you drink it, or you can have it. And it's typically, like a couple of happy dancing hippies on there. And it's coffee in the raw. And it's coffee actually processed when you take the coffee cherries. And you take the coffee cherries, before you pulp them, and you dry the skin on the beans. Now what happened is a lot of the people, they like the naturalists, the ones, I call them the dancing mountain people, the ones hang around the health food stores. Everything has to be just natural, so. Now, they read the news releases that drinking coffee has more benefits than not. All of a sudden they show up. And they say drinking coffee is not bad for you. Let's drink coffee, but don't change anything. Just put those cherries, dry them a bit with the skin on there, and then roast them with the skin. Now what happened is, the aftertaste, when you leave the skin on there, has a natural, has a more earthier taste to it. And a lot of people don't like that. So what happened is, we remove the skin before roasting, and it gives it a sweeter taste without the earthy taste. And it's actually the yappy coffee. There's the real hippie coffee, and then there's the yappy coffee. So in a lot of people, it has become very popular. It is just one of those carry-over sweetness of the coffee cherry. And people reflect, you know, that sort of a sweeter